What's happening, my little spreadlings? Ever since exploring the caverns of Deltarune Chapter 5, we have all been thinking the same thing. It is apparent that Blue, this certain blue flower who is brought to life in the dark world, is a homosexual individual, and by proxy we can come to the conclusion that this yellow cowboy man is also a queer. This raises the question, where do the other flowers lie? Many of them have behaviors and expressions that could hint towards where they fall on the spectrum, but the zestiness of them is up for debate. Today, I have decided to rank them from least to most gay, decided by what I consider gayness to be fueled by. I am not ranking in terms of actions or consequences, but rather a delicious point-based system. There are different things that I consider to gain or detract gay points. These include appearance, intent, behavior, and vibe. For the rest of the video we will refer to these as Pookie points, which I will award each character at the end of their segment. Content warning. This video will be discussing the romantic and sexual preferences of a bunch of plants. If you aren't built for that, then have a trip to the lake, I guess. Let's just dive right into this one and see where we land. At number 7, in last place at the 7th highest spot in the list, right below 6 and above nothing, we have the one and only Aqua. Aqua is a child and doesn't really express any romantic attraction towards anyone. She appears and identifies as female and seems chill with it. She basically racks up no Pookie points because of this. The only zest she could rack up would be through the idea people have that she is a literal reincarnation of Chris as a little nugget. The general idea that she represents what Chris was like as a little gremlin, like in the era where the holidays and dreamers were still 100% vibin'. This would make it so she has non-binary potential and plenty of zesty moments that could eventually occur. This is unconfirmed and I am not a believer, so she's not gonna parasite drain any Pookie points off of our main they slash them warrior Chris Dreamer. I will break this rule for a certain character later in the list, which may make me seem like a hypocrite, but at the end of the day I make the rules. Get lost, kid, your days are numbered. In case you are wondering, I don't really believe that Aqua represents a younger Chris because I don't think Toby would provide a pre-transition version of a non-binary character for us, and also because Noelle referred to a very young Chris as they in the Spamton sweepstakes stuff. If you think Aqua is a potential zestner, that's fine, but that's also a little weird, not gonna lie. She's like a kid. Why are you saying that? Back off, man. I am so sorry, Aqua, but I award you 0 Pookie points. She can have like an Easter egg or something, I don't know. Moving on. At the Gaster number we have Orange. Pretty much everything I said about Aqua also applies to her, except I think Orange is supposed to be viewed as older, so it's more debatable whether she has opportunity for gay behavioral outcomes. That said, I think it is still slightly weird to discuss that as they are still described as younger. Farming her for zest points is a tad devious and you will rightfully gain nothing but scorn and contempt from most for indulging in that behavior. There is no evidence, so she gets nothing. 0 Pookie points and an apricot for her. I'm gonna be real and say that I just have nothing to say about Orange in any regard, so let's just move past the bottom 2 and get to the actual meat of the discussion. At number 5 we have a they who's mean and lean, and that motherfucker goes by Green. There is nothing particularly zesty about this individual other than the fact that they go by they/them pronouns and are presumably non-binary. I will award them 20 Pookie points for this. In terms of their behavior, they are pretty normal and non-triggering to my expertly refined gaydar. Their appearance kind of resembles a British dinner lady or something. This implies asexuality because if you know any people like that, you know it's impossible to imagine them existing or participating in any sort of romantic or sexual context. They are more entities than they are people, if you know what I mean. That said, I am not clear if asexuality is zesty or not. It certainly can be. There are plenty of zesty asexuals, but there are also stern and or blunt asexuals that give off little zesty aura. If anything, I get a straight aura emanating off of Green, which I cannot quite put my finger on, and they certainly aren't gay enough to rank too highly in my eyes. That said, they are the representative of the green soul and are probably one of the only non-ironic representations of the soul traits from Undertale, as they are kindness, that makes them an ally, which gains them 5 Pookie points and a teethy ear-to-ear smile from us all. They end with 25 Pookie points and I'll give them 1 block of licorice. One thing I want to mention in the middle of this video is that I'm very confused by the familial dynamic of these weeds. I assumed they are all family, which seems confirmed in some ways. Orange and Flowery are established to be siblings. But then it's also deconfirmed by Yellow and Blue dating? I guess you never know with Toby Fox after what Queen said this chapter. But it's all very hard to pin down. I actually really like thinking of them as a family unit. So I'm just gonna headcanon that they are all related except for either Yellow or Blue, who is like the weird-in-law. I think their family tree looks like this, by the way. Anyway, at number 4 we have the lore, Yellow himself. You may think he is ranking fairly low considering he is in a homosexual relationship with a homosexual and ends the chapter literally bound to his main man, and you'd be right to think that. I know this is gonna be the most controversial placement on the list, but let me make my case before you slime me out. By all accounts this is an incredibly gay individual and he should rank highly, which he still does. However, I am detracting some Pookie points for intelligence and self-awareness as it affects intent. You may think that is unfair or discriminatory, and it certainly sounds mean and cruel, but use your noggin for a second and think about it. Who is more of a homo? A person who is actively aware of their gayness and is an intellectual big gay, or a person who doesn't seem that intelligent and is acting on their base instincts? As Yellow is the former, that leads me to believe that Yellow is less homosexual than the 3 characters above him. A self-aware gay has more power, I'm sorry. If you ask Yellow what being gay is, do you think he would be able to actually answer? I think not. He would probably just have some sort of episode. This is why I am placing him 4th, despite him still being very gay. His power level just isn't quite as high, and in a world where Blue doesn't exist I'm not 100% sure this guy would even be aware of his gay impulses and or feel any urge to act on them. I feel he would be vulnerable to homophobic conversion therapy, whereas the characters above him on the list would not be. They are what would be called solidified gays. Whereas I think you could Greg Heffley psychologically manipulate Yellow and chip away at his gayness. I sound harsh, but he is still a part of the 100% homo club, and I will award him 85 Pookie points and a Twinkie for that. I know his placement is lower than expected, but keep in mind he is still a huge jump from Green, who had a mere 25 Pookie points. We are in state homosexual now. Actually, I'll be nice, I'll give him 87 points because he does seem particularly romantic. I'm sorry guys, but let's hop to the next Slimer. At number 3 with a slap on the knee, we have Seth. From this point onwards we are entering the land of the apex homosexuals. The bottom 3 would respond negatively to being called the F-slur, and Yellow would not understand it, but these top 3 would respond to being called the F-slur with a simple, "and what?" whilst giving you the look. These 3 know what's up. Seth being this high will be the opposite of Yellow, surprising people by being much higher than expected. Honestly, I was shocked too, but you're gonna have to hear me out on this one. There is an unused version of one of Seth's cafe breaks that led me to a shocking revelation. I'm not a fan of using cut content for theories, but considering this video is absolute rot I couldn't care less. I'm just gonna play the whole clip because it's very unlikely many of you watching have actually seen this dialogue. Keep in mind that Bluebird without a space is referring to Chris, and Bluebird with a space is referring to Birdly. This dialogue confirms that Seth is non-binary and or agender, and likely became as they are now to impress Birdly, who is now confirmed to think non-binary people are the coolest, making Birdly basically canon. This is an incredible Pookie point boost for Seth as it implies a calculated level of homosexual behavior which is frankly unmatched by even people higher than them on the list. You can take it further and say that Seth is sort of a manifestation of all of Chris's homosexual behavior that manifested due to them being the one that made the dark world. A non-binary person whose existence is for the bird? Now that sounds like the K I know. They even have attributes of Chris's other big gay crushes like the glasses of Ralsei, the purple color of Susie, and the free-hanging hair of Noelle. Seth's non-binary nature may exist purely to appease Birdly, which is hella gay. Also, being non-binary and androgynous in how you present yourself can sometimes make all romance slightly gayer regardless of who it is with. This all makes Seth a strategic zesty gay genius and scores them a good supply of Pookie points. I'm gonna give them 100 honestly. They're an apex in homosexuality and they only rank third as a lot of the evidence for it is ambiguous, even if heavily suggested. They are definitely the craftiest and most intelligent homosexual on the list. Their potential is unmatched. For now they get the bronze medal. I'm not including Mew properly as an 8th member because she's just a flower larper, but if she were to be on the list, this is where she slots. I'm not sure how many Pookie points to give her though. She gains a lot for being a trans allegory. She gains points for being a bisexual who is into both Asgore and Undine. Unless her liking Undine isn't canon in this universe, in which case she loses Pookie points for straightness. She gains points for being romantic towards a non-binary person, but then she loses points for that being without consent from her end and being illegal. She gains points for the Mew x Mew Yuri, but then she also loses points for that also being illegal. Or maybe she just gets a lot of Pookie points and a prison sentence. Actually, how about this? Mad Mew Mew the Ghost gets 100 Pookie points and is sentenced to hometown prison for breaking relationship age laws. And then the body darkener Mew Mew gets 100 Pookie points and is a free woman, as she engaged in consensual Yuri and willingly flirted with a non-binary kid who we can assume is in her legal to date age range. Is that fair? Moving on. Now we're at number 2, we gotta ask the question.
Why so blue?
Yes, that's right folks, now we're at Blue, who is a hyper-homosexual and gay mogs most people at a pride parade. Out of the two in this relationship, it is clear that Blue is the more self-aware homosexual, with the higher power level. This gains him more abilities in homosexuality tactics. He also dresses in what is generally seen to be a feminine way, which gains confidence points when it comes to his zest and is a power move. It's clear that he is the leading figure in his relationship, and if it weren't for him I don't think Yellow would even be able to fully realize the gayness he holds within his core. He is so powerful in his apex homosexuality that he can even bring out the queer in others, blossoming zest wherever he steps. He is a powerful gay and gains 100 Pookie points for this. I kinda wanted to put Seth above him for the potential, but I know if I'm trying to be objective the big blue gotta be number 2. He can also have some brioche.
Jerome, they're eating my flesh! Suckle it up!
At numero 1 we have my golden son.
Flowery.
I know there are some chuds in the audience who will shiver at the thought of me putting this saucy guy above someone who in any other circumstance would be the king of zest, and I can understand that. But I think there is something special about Flowery in the Undertale and Deltarune series. That being that he is basically the only actually sexual character. Say what you will about the other zesty guys in these games, but sexual implications are never really on the table. It's not really brought up and it wouldn't be fitting for the tone of these games. That said, Flowery is a freak. His voice lines are often incredibly seductive, and we even get fan service of him via the bromides. If you haven't found them, the Gunnar Floridans you can find throughout Chapter 5 are basically commissioned to draw Flowery fan service in this Goon Cave, which you can see in Bromide R and Bromide F. One is of him in Ralsei's outfit, and one is literally him in the bath all bubbled up. This is not even mentioning the way he's feeling up Asgore the whole chapter, and the fact that he's designed a chair of his face for Asgore to sit on.
Yes.
Everything zesty about every Toby Fox character can be applied to Flowery, with the new addition of him being an overtly sexual being, which is new for the franchise. He also seems to have modeled his body off of Rudy in some way, who we all know is Asgore's gay lover. This means Flowery's body is molded from pure homosexual love. If you are a Rudy Nighter, that makes this final battle especially romantic, as Asgore's two lovers battle for his heart and massive fatty. Here's a nugget to think about. Would we even have a Chapter 5 if not for Flowery's homosexuality fueling the whole chapter? I think not. Chapter 5 without Flowery's same-sex attractions is basically just the weird route. You can theoretically remove any gay from this list and maintain the chapter, but Flowery?
No.
He is the driving force of the story, and that drive comes entirely from a case of the gay gaze. This might count as cheating, but at the end of the chapter he absorbs his recruits, as well as the other flowers. So Flowery in his peak form has all of the zest of the other flowers anyway. Even if you disagree with me and think Blue deserves to be number 1, Flowery absorbs Blue in his peak form, so Flowery wins anyway. Notice how he even leaves a gay flag pride colors trail whenever he moves. I think his gay snail trail shows how much zest he truly has hiding beneath the surface. It emanates off of him like the nice warm feeling of a cozy fireplace. He is truly the gayest of the flowers. For that I award him 101 Pookie points and Toriel's genocide route death scene. So what do you think of my ranking? This script started as like a 2 AM fever dream and is probably one of the worst and or best courses of action I have ever committed to in my life. I hope you enjoyed the video on some level at least, and if you disagree with my objective ranking, feel free to leave hateful comments and make a fool of yourself down below. Bye bye. Go and eat some carrots, I hear they're good for your eyesight.